5, 4, 3, 2.
Yugi Bros! Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I was playtesting in the water. You know, with my water deck. With the one card that Konami just doesn't like to give us for speed duels, apparently. Yeah. Well, it appears I am
once again asking
for Legendary Ocean
support.
So here is my top 5 water support cards for speed duels for whatever the next box set ends up being called. Before we begin, I feel like I should note here that this isn't support for water that I'm going to explain this time. This is support for a Legendary Ocean. Granted, some of this support for a Legendary Ocean would just be generic water support in general, but I feel like a Legendary Ocean at this point just deserves to be in speed duels, and I don't want that to take up one of the 5 slots here. So I'm going to suggest what should come to the game along with a Legendary Ocean. So to begin this video, let's just explain what a Legendary Ocean does. This is a field spell that says this card's name is always treated as Yumi. All water monsters on the field gain 200 attack and defense. Reduce the levels of all water monsters in both players' hands and on the field by 1. So right off the bat, it being treated as Yumi works with 3 cards that are already in speed duels, those being a Legendary Fisherman, a Legendary Fisherman 2, and Levia Dragon Daedalus. Legendary Fisherman and Fisherman 2 both have specific effects where Fisherman itself is unaffected by spells if Yumi is on the field. Fisherman 2 says, while Yumi is on the field, this card is unaffected by other monster effects. Levia Dragon is a little bit different, where it says it can send a face-up Yumi you control to the grave to destroy all other cards on the field. That's nuts. But what really sets a Legendary Ocean apart from all other Yumi replicates is that it reduces the levels of all water monsters on both players' hands and fields by 1. So that makes cards that are level 5, level 4, like, for example, Legendary Fisherman 1 and 2, if you have them in your hand, they now become level 4 monsters that you could just normal summon to the field free of play, like no tributing required. Levia Dragon, on the other hand, goes from a level 7 to a 6, so it goes from 2 tributes to a 1 tribute, which is actually nuts, man. And it by itself is 2600 beat stick. It's going to come out with a 200 attack and defense boost, so it comes out as a 1 tribute 2800 monster that can wipe the entire board by sending Yumi, or in this case a Legendary Ocean, face up from your field to the graveyard. And then respectively the Legendary Fisherman 1 and 2 package come out at 2050 and 2400 with no tributes. So what I love about a Legendary Ocean by itself is that water right now in speed duels is terrible, like to say the least, absolutely terrible. But this card by itself makes cards that are already in speed duels actually just a lot better. So I really would love to see this come over, and with the addition of this card with how power crept speed duels is from where water was to where it began, to where it is now, I would also like to see these 5 cards come with it. Number 5. So at this point, the Battle City box revealed to us multiple 1900 beat sticks in speed duels, so why can't water have one too? And in this case, why can't water in addition get a 1900 beat stick that by discarding it searches a Legendary Ocean? Enter Warrior of Atlantis. Level 4 water aqua effect, 1900 attack, 1200 defense. You can discard this card to the graveyard. Add 1 a Legendary Ocean from your deck to your hand. Speaks for itself, basically very self-explanatory. Why not have a Terraforming-esque card for this field spell in a deck that's not very good, but could be very good with this card by having more ways to search said card. Also, however, having a 1900 beat stick, if we don't want to use this for a discard, or we would rather keep the 1900 monster, or let's just say a Legendary Ocean's already on the field, you normal summon this and he's 2100, that's really good right now to get over a lot of things. It gives water a buff in a big attack monster, and in addition gives them discard fodder to add a Legendary Ocean from their deck to their hand, giving a Legendary Ocean type deck a lot more consistency. Since the release of the Battle City box, we've gotten cards like Reinforcements of the Army, Fire Formation Tenki, Pre-Preparation of Rights, cards like that allow our already really slim 20-card decks to consistently get our cards a lot faster. So let's give WALLR their own terraforming-esque card, so to speak, their own Reinforcements of the Army, in a monster that doubles up as a really powerful option, but also can get us our field spell that hopefully will secure us some victories. Number 4. Stop me if you've heard this one already. Amphibious Bergoth MK3. Yes, I know I've done a video similar to this in the past where I talked about my top 10 water cards I wanted to see in the Battle City box. And this time I tried not to repeat as much as possible. However, I seriously still think this card would be a great addition to Speed Duels. And here's why. While Yumi is face up on the field, this card can attack your opponent's life points directly. This is a level 4 water machine effect, 15 attack, 13 defense. However, if it comes out and Yumi is on the field, specifically Legendary Ocean at this point, it gives it a 200 boost, so it's 1700. You bring this out and you attack directly with this, that's almost half the game in Speed Duels. Now, I know Speed Duels has power crept itself a little bit since the last time I talked about this card, but I still think this would be a huge addition to Speed because WALLR needs a few new angles to play. And if you're not just going to play the Summon a Levia Dragon, blow up the entire board type situation, if you can't get that off as fast as you want, let's summon a monster that not only is basically a beat stick at 1700, but can attack directly and honestly probably change the tide of a few different games, no puns intended. This card would be really good. I think there's a lot of potential behind this. It's also a machine, so the longer down the road we get more machine support, this could be relevant. I'm not sure if you can mix machines and water. Obviously not so much in real life, but maybe in Speed Duels we'll be able to do so. I'm not really sure. But let's say you play like a rush build where you try to get as many of these out as possible, maybe through like big wave, small wave or something. Let's say you have 2 of these on board. You punch for 3,400. That's a substantial amount of life points. If you get 3 of these and punch all 3, that's just game. So there could definitely be some ways to make a turbo water deck to try to like OTK or FTK as fast as possible. And this is definitely one of those cards that would give WALLR a new angle to play for sure. Number 3. So y'all like Big Daddy Daedalus, right? Well, what if I said you could normal summon Daedalus for free, but you only get to pop 2 cards instead? Enter CODARUS, little baby Daedalus. Level 4 water, Sea Serpent effect, 1400 attack, 1200 defense. You can send one face up Yumi you control to the graveyard to target up to 2 cards your opponent controls, send those targets to the grave. A lot of upside here because A, you don't have to tribute summon to summon it. B, you don't destroy everything on the field. You target 2 cards your opponent controls, so you're not losing your own cards, which is nice. And C, it actually sends the targets to the grave. It doesn't destroy, so it gets around things that, are immune to destruction. That's pretty cool. There's not a whole lot in Speed Duels right now where that pertains to, but over time that might get really good. And then in addition, just the fact that it's a level 4 monster, so you don't have to tribute for it, you drop this thing right to the field, and realistically in Speed Duels, 2 cards, getting rid of 2 cards on your opponent's board should probably be all that really matters in a lot of swings, depending on the turn. So you get rid of 2 of their back row, or 2 of their monsters. The nice thing about this card is it says up to 2, so you don't have to send 2 cards if for some reason that would make it worse for you in some way, shape, or form. So there's a lot of versatility to this card that I like. Again, gives it another angle. That way you don't have to go the big Levia Dragon Daedalus package. You don't have to go the slushy package that works with level 5 or higher Sea Serpents. It gives WALLR another way to play without playing the big beefy beat sticks or the little slushy type things that are otherwise slowing your deck down trying to set up for a combo that may not be in your best interest right now. So this card's really cool for that reason, and that is why it's number 3 on this list. Number 2. Oh, here he goes again. Another card from his other list. This guy doesn't learn. He doesn't give us new cards. Well, listen, guys. I really think this is a good addition for Speed Duels. and I wouldn't put it in this video if I didn't absolutely think that Speed Duels could use this. Water definitely needs this card. And hey, if, Konami would just throw in some of my actual choices for water in the next box, then we wouldn't be having this discussion. They did pretty good with my other videos. A lot of the cards I suggested ended up in the Battle City box. Where was all the water support, Konami? Anyways, Sea Stealth Attack, Continuous Trap. When this card is activated, you can activate Yumi from your hand or graveyard. Keep in mind, a Legendary Ocean is always treated as Yumi, so you could activate a Legendary Ocean from the hand or graveyard. While Yumi is on the field, or Legendary Ocean, this face-up card gains these effects. Once per turn, you can banish one water monster you control until the end phase. This turn, face-up spell and traps you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, even if this card leaves the field. So built-in protection for a Legendary Ocean, for example, or any other continuous spell and trap cards you have on the field, including this. The other effect is at the start of the damage step, if your water monster whose original level is 5 or higher battles an opponent's monster, destroy that opponent's monster. So now we have additional destruction or protection for our big level 5 monsters, because even if they are destroyed, for example, it's destroying the opponent's monster. What I like about this card is that it adds versatility, but it also, the big downside to water right now is there's not a whole lot of defense. I know I mentioned Eisenbahn, I think, in my last top 10 video as a good way to stall, but this is a little bit faster and offers protection for your face-up spell and trap cards, so, people aren't just instantly getting rid of them. Unfortunately, Cosmic Cyclone does exist at 3 currently in Speed Duels, barring in mind maybe we get a Forbidden Limited list and it goes to 1, just for how versatile the card is and the fact that it does banish. But this, outside of Cosmic Cyclone, would protect from most things in Speed Duels currently, and I really think this would be a good way to protect cards like a Legendary Ocean or Tornado Wall. I know I suggested that in a different video. And of course, obviously, it's itself, Sea Stealth Attack, and it comes back at the end phase of the turn. So the nice part is you're not really giving up anything for this outside of one monster. But let's say, for example, you have that one water monster you can extinguish for this effect for the turn. Go ahead and banish it. It comes back. What also is nice is that it lets your water monsters get around effects. So if your opponent, let's say, wants to Offerings to the Doomed your Levia Dragon, you can have this banish the Levia Dragon you control until the end phase. And then it gets around the destruction from Offerings to the Doomed. Hopefully you have another way to protect your life points before the Levia Dragon comes back, of course. But, that's a different story. Basically, this card gives you a lot more defense and a lot more control as to making sure your water monsters stay free from destruction, and being able to have like a Sakuretsu-like effect where if your water monster that is a level 5 or higher battles, then it destroys the opponent's monster. That right there is some more solid defense, but also you can come up with some crazy combos with this. Like, with this card, you could run your Legendary Fisherman 2 into your opponent's monster, have it be destroyed, then have Sea Stealth Attack destroy the opponent's monster, and then because the Legendary Fisherman 2 was destroyed by battle, you can add a level 7 water monster from your deck to your hand so you get your Levia Dragon. Like, you've already set yourself up for a following play, and gotten rid of your opponent's monster all in the same shot, but also, just in general, you flip this on when your opponent attacks one of your level 5 or higher water monsters, and you get this little extra insurance policy where you can destroy the monster that destroyed yours, or that attacked yours. I don't know, the card just has a lot going for it, in addition to doing the most important thing, which is protecting your Legendary Ocean from being destroyed so that it can stay on the field for your CODARUS or your Levia Dragon to then send it from the field to the grave to destroy cards your opponent controls. Number 1. Alright, we're going old school for this one, guys. It's Abyss Soldier. Level 4, Water, Aqua Effect, 18 attack, 13 defense. Once per turn, you can discard one water monster to the graveyard to target one card on the field, return it to the hand. I can't begin to tell you the amount of combos you can do with this. You can return cards on your field to the hand. You can return cards your opponent controls to the hand. Lots of things, but basically the whole point is the fact that you have to discard a water, so obviously this is straight water support. Yes, I know you don't need a legendary fisherman to make this effect go, but we need a powerful monster in water to be viable and, to return pesky, annoying cards on the fields of the hand. This can return anything. So, face up, spell and trap, face down, spell and trap, face up monster, face down monster. Hey, you know what's annoying right now? XYZ. You know what's really good? Bouncing XYZ to the extra deck by pitching a water monster. Water. This is your quote-unquote boss monster. It'd be level 4 lower, obviously, so it's not a quote-unquote boss monster, but it is a really big, viable option. I would love to see this in Speed Duels, and I'm sure a lot of old GOAT fans would be as well, considering we are just slowly becoming GOAT format in Speed Duels, even though we only have 3 zones and obviously can't play Scapegoat. But we keep getting more and more cards that were from GOAT format, and this card is definitely something Speed Duels could use. And I understand it has nothing to do with the Legendary Ocean, but with the Legendary Ocean comes out at 2,000 attack, which is also pretty cool. But in general, this is something Speed definitely can use. This is something Water definitely can use. I would love to see this card. And hey, bouncing Zoma from the field to the hand has never been a bad feeling, I'll tell you that much. But this, yeah, I would love to see this come. I'm sure a lot of you would love to see this come. This card definitely needs to come over to Speed, for sure. And that about rounds up my top 5. I've got one honorable mention, because I always used to do this with the other videos, and that is Rage of KAIRYU-SHIN. Yes, I'm pronouncing it differently. People tell me that's how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Whatever. KAIRYU-SHIN, KAIRYU-SHIN, whatever. This is a quick play spell card that says if Yuumi is on the field, target monsters your opponent controls up to the number of water monsters you control whose original levels are 5 or higher, destroy them, and if you do, the zones they were in cannot be used until the end of the next turn. You can only activate Rage of KAIRYU-SHIN once per turn. Guys, this is kind of bonkers. It's kind of insane, and obviously it supports the level 5 or higher theme for water. I don't know how to feel whether or not this is too strong or not, just because they can't use the zone. So if you destroy 3 monsters, they can't summon the following turn. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's too good or not. But you do have to play the level 5 or higher cards, and you'd have to have 3 on the field to make this card as bonkers as it could be. But just in general, like, free destruction, target monsters everyone controls up to the number of waters, destroy them. Like, as a quick play, this is insanity. I don't know if this is too good or not, and I'd leave it up to you guys in the comments to debate this one. That's why it's my honorable mention. I usually have the honorable mentions be cards that might be too good for Speed Duels. Union Scramble was on my list for Kaiba support cards that I definitely said was too strong, and yet we got it anyway for some reason. And guess what, guys? It's one of the most powerful traps in Speed Duels. But I digress. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this top 5/6 with this Rage of KAIRYU-SHIN. Comment, like, and subscribe as always. You guys know the drill by now. I'm not going to beat it over like Bernie Sanders asking for Legendary Ocean
support.